welcome to the Never Seen It podcast, the only podcast called Never Seen It that's worth listening to. Tonight with us, as always, Mr. Arnie, the one-man party, aka Arnold Callego, Mr. Daily Dares, aka Filipino Grigio, aka Mr. Alex Callego, the brothers Callego, Mr. Ghost Nerd 88, aka Justin Holden, and then there's me, Mr. Boots Too Big, aka Adrian De La Torre. And tonight we are discussing the 1988 animated film Akira. Or is it Akira? They say Akira. In the English.
Akira.
A secret military project endangers Neo-Tokyo when it turns a biker gang member into a rampaging psychic psychopath that only two teenagers and a group of psychics can stop. And that's a lot of that in that movie. There's a lot of that in that movie. There's a lot of yelling. There's a lot of mouth agape in this movie. But we can joke all we want. I watched this for the first time because I had never seen it. And we'll get into why you picked this, Justin. But I want to say my perceptions of this movie was that it was like this cyberpunk-esque animated Japanese film, and Reddit I always saw people talk about it on Reddit, but outside of that, I didn't really know anything about the story. I really didn't know anything about the characters. And the funny thing is that I owned the DVD, although I didn't feel like watching it on DVD, so I went the lazy route and I downloaded the 7-day trial of Crunchyroll, and I watched it on Crunchyroll on my TV, and I'm glad I did because it was very much worth it. This was directed by a gentleman who I know I'm going to mess up his name, Tsuhiro Otomo. I'm probably saying that with the wrong accent.
No, you almost nailed it.
Well, Spanish and Japanese, like the sounds of the vowels are similar, even though the words are completely different. But yeah. And a whole cast and crew of people I know I'll mess up their names, so I'm not going to try. But I this came out in '88, 2 years after I was born. And it's apparently, a coworker of mine was telling me this is considered like the biggest inspiration for like all of anime. That's his words, not mine. So we'll see if you guys agree. Justin, you picked this movie, so tell us, why did you pick this movie?
I didn't grow up watching this movie, and it's kind of funny because this movie came out in 1988, which happens to be the year of my birth. So I always thought that was pretty cool. A fantastic movie that came out when I was summoned from my mother's womb. But I actually watched this movie in college during a movie film class, whatever. We reviewed like movies, and it correlated with art. So I was like in gaming and animation at one point in time, and I went to this class, and he showed us a bunch of movies. Like he showed us Grave of the Fireflies, and he showed us Akira, and he was like one of my favorite teachers because he was so well versed in like just getting people interested in film in general and really like analyzing film. So I didn't really grow up watching this movie. It was only until I turned like 20, 21 is when I was like first introduced to this film. And even just watching it in class, with everybody else, I kind of instantly fell in love with this movie. And it was my first like step into watching like anime features, such as I used to watch like Dragon Ball all the time. Cool, whatever. That was kind of like a basic thing. I mean, Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z were like really great shows, but it was pretty basic for an American to watch. It was like, oh, okay, you watch Dragon Ball Z. So does like every other American in America right now, because it was really popular. It was Dragon Ball Z was a great show, but I feel like Akira allowed me to take that step forward. Both Akira and Grave of the Fireflies both paved the way for my love of animated film, such as like Neon Genesis and Ghost in the Shell and a bunch of other animated features as well. So I chose this one because I know you, Adrian, you haven't seen it, and I feel like it's abysmal. I feel like it's absolutely abysmal for you to have never seen it. But I'm glad we got to get to this point. and watch it because I think this movie means a lot. And after watching it a dozen times over, I think this movie is definitely really relevant, especially in today's world.
And apparently this cost at the time $9 million to make, making it one of the most expensive animated productions of the time. And I was gonna say that even Disney in its 2D animation heyday did not produce anything nearly as detailed, as beautiful as this. Like the visuals of this thing are insane, man. Like I mean, there's so much texture in every scene. Every scene is like full of just there's detail and lighting and in the environment and all the little bits of glass and dirt and smoke and water and everything. It's crazy.
You said $9 million?
$9 million. So it was at the time $9 million to make at the time. Yeah, that was 160,000 animation cells were used. And unlike most animators, featured lip sync mouth movements. Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
You know what I really loved and appreciate about the animation and the care and attention to detail they put into it. There was a scene where Tetsuo and his girlfriend are sitting next to each other after he just gotten out of the hospital, and he's drinking a soda or something, and he's just kind of like hunched over and they're talking, and he casually just throws the can into like this alleyway type of deal, and they actually show the shot of the can being thrown into the alleyway, and it's just a bunch of pipes and stuff like that, and they decided to put that in. It's like there's like no need for them to put that in there. It's like a very, very minor detail, but they put it in there, and not only did they put it in there, it's just so detailed, that like one shot, and it's like no relevance to the film whatsoever. He's not using any psychic powers or anything like that. He's just like throwing a can into an alleyway.
I forgot that I was watching an animated movie. I really did. And the thing is, I'm very wary about nothing against anything that's animated. I don't generally gravitate towards animated stuff. So like, when I was watching this, I didn't have a problem at all with it being immersed into the story. By the way, tonight's episode brought to you by McDonald's Snack Wraps, which I believe Arnold is enjoying some snack wraps tonight, right, Arnold? Or what is that?
Oh no, this is a big honker carne asada burrito.
From where?
I'm not sure from where. My wife just came home with it. Clutch.
Nice. That's always the best.
The big honker. We got the green salsa here. And since we're at home, add a little bit of avocado. Why pay that extra $3 for a few slices of avocado when you get the whole thing here?
There's nothing better than when someone brings home food. Like, there really isn't. Like, when someone brings you food, especially if it's your partner, your spouse, whatever. Yeah, it's a chef's kiss, right, Arnold?
Yeah, chef's bite right here.
Jeez.
Gosh, wow. That's the signature Arnold eats right there. But anyway, so wait, so I'm the only one who hadn't seen it. Arnold, had you seen this before? You don't have to. You can use the thumbs up or down, by the way, because I know you're a little. Yeah, okay.
Kinda.
Yeah, but wow, what's that?
I'll tell you more.
You're telling me more.
I kind of did.
You kind of did.
So, because my brothers, they would always watch this movie. Oh, I find out now. It was brought to you by Castañedas.
Local establishment, yeah, regional establishment.
There was many times where they would watch this movie, and I remember, I think I would only watch maybe the first 15 minutes. I guess that's maybe my attention span, because as I started watching it, I'm like, oh, I remember these clown guys. I remember thinking, oh, they look kind of intimidating. Man, if I saw those guys in real life, they look kind of scary. The part up to where Tetsuo was like tripping out, and then like he thinks he's scooping up his guts. I remember thinking, like, in my mind, I was like, oh my gosh. But I didn't get it. But then it's like those few things was seared into my brain. And I think I probably just ran off and went to go play basketball or something.
Nice.
Question, Arnold. Did any of those trips make their way into your trips?
Maybe a little bit of, like, the feeling of flying.
But none of the guts falling out of your stomach part?
No, not really. No. Maybe more so I feel like I was coughing out my lungs.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the closest thing to it.
Well, This movie did not hold back from violence, gratuity, and even a little bit of nudity. Not a film you want to watch with your kid or children, really.
Yeah. Oh, it's a nice cartoon.
Definitely not a children's film.
No, not a children's film at all. Very. And by the way, if anybody else, I want to know if you guys caught this, because I've read, was it The Dark Knight Returns comic, or was it a comic, or was it considered a, it doesn't matter, graphic novel?
It was
comic,
graphic
whatever.
novel.
Well, there's like a...
I read the comic.
There's like street gangs in that one. When I was watching this, it immediately reminded me of that. And also the big one was Blade Runner. Like, I was like, wow, and this came out after Blade Runner. I'm not saying they borrowed from Blade Runner, but there is something there, I think, as far as just the similar themes of that setting of that, what do you call that? Not post-apocalyptic. I can't think of the word. Cyberpunk. That's what it is. I can't think of the word.
It's definitely Cyberpunk, Neo Tokyo, and if you also caught like the date, like the time was like 2019, which was
it really?
And this is like post World War III as well, so they were depicting like a world post World War III in 2019.
I'm assuming the opening images was like a nuclear bomb that was dropped and
I believe what they were referencing was like the Third World War, they were definitely referencing the Third World War, I believe.
Yeah,
I might be wrong on that one, but so that's why they were showing that gaping crater,
gaping hole,
because that's where like civilization pretty much ended right there. And then so what they were talking about later on in the movie is that they were rebuilding society from that point on, and there's even a comment that was made by I forget what that character's name is, that like big burly dude that was working with the scientist, but he made a comment like, he's like, wow, the scientist was like, wow, you really hate this city, but you sure like sticking up for it or something like that.
Yeah.
And he goes on and he talks about how like they just kept building and building and building, and there's like nothing left of the city now. It's just there's just too much going on. So I thought that was pretty interesting too.
Yeah.
So I got a couple things that Adrian, you were talking about the release of The Dark Knight. That was actually released in 1986, 2 years prior to the anime. But the manga was released in 82. So it's kind of like, but to jump on to Justin's point about the whole World War II thing, I saw this, I was watching this video kind of like talking about both the manga and the anime, and the hidden meaning behind like the of Akira. And so they're talking about how Akira is a representation of post-World War II anxieties. The state of Tokyo in the story mirrors the state of the country after the U.S. bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Also, as in real life, the film is suspended in a power struggle between religious zealots, corrupt, power-hungry capitalists, and aimless, parentless, angry youth. So, like, those eras, like this whole movie kind of mirrors post-World War II, and like this post-World War III thing is supposed to like talk about like that whole sort of thing. There's a lot of really cool like things that they brought up in that video, a lot of comparisons and a lot of like linear like sort of parallels that they create between what these and the hidden meanings between Akira and actual what it means to the Japanese people.
And it's interesting, right? Because there's so many layers to all. Like any great story is going to be multi-layered, and that's why, like, I hate when people say, like, "I miss there was the time when there was no politics in movies." Man, what are you talking about? There's always been politics.
Everything's
in movies.
Political. Everything's political.
Exactly. Art is political. All art is political. Like, what do you think The Dark Knight is about? It's about terrorism and how the government responds to it, and how they are willing to take away our rights in order to stop the terrorists. That's what The Dark Knight is about. The original X-Men movie is about equality for everybody, right? There's themes of the LGBT community and the equality that they didn't have in that era. This movie has so multi-layered with like post-World War II themes, and which makes sense when we drop 2 nuclear bombs on that country, right? So
I like
hate
how
this
is
idea
like
that people say it.
Is this just the second movie that we've done that was sort of like the view of how the people felt about their country? I mean, we had this.
I feel like every movie we've done, is multi-layered in that way.
But I think you're referencing was that a Serbian film, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
That's exactly what I was.
Great
thinking
example as well.
Yeah.
You know,
check out that episode.
that's why there's exactly available now on wherever you get your podcast from. You know, I think it's great storytelling that always has those themes to it, and you know, there's been a pushback lately against it's not so deep crowd. Oh, it's not so well. Actually, it is that deep. You just don't have the depth to understand it. That's the issue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
And that's
there is
actually
politics.
like what I've learned from that whole like debate about it's not that deep. You know, that is actually a kind of toxic trait to tell people that
Right.
something isn't that deep. It's like kind of like saying you're just being dismissive of somebody actually find depth in something that they find depth in. You know, don't dismiss something that somebody finds depth in. You know.
Yeah.
I may not see much like Adrian. You may not. You're definitely not a fan of pro wrestling, but I love pro wrestling and I find the depth in it. You know. So,
right.
like, but you've never been like, I mean, you joke about it, but you've never been dismissive towards it. To
I
me.
know turning heel. I know that phrase. I like
exactly.
That
and see, and you use
That's
that
a great
reference.
phrase, by the way. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, guys, you know, we go deep. Just like what Janet Jackson says. We go deep and we don't get no sleep because we be up all night until the early night.
A little bit of a different reference, but okay. Yeah, I get it.
What a
want me to sing it?
wordsmith.
Did you need me to sing
what
it?
a wordsmith Janet Jackson is.
Yeah. Don't sing it because we'll get the copyright strike.
Right. Okay, well, I'll change up the lyrics. I'll make it naughty. No?
Yeah. Oh, no. Well,
No.
Yeah.
You just quoted
spicy.
the lyrics. You don't have
Never
to sing
seen
it.
it After Dark, starring Arnold.
And only Arnold.
And only, yeah.
And only
He'll be
Arnold
soloing
and-
it, if you know what I mean.
Only Arnold and 1/3 of the burrito that's left.
Yes. Oh, that looks delicious.
Jeez, you
But
got that fast.
You can't deny the influence this movie has
Arnold went
had.
that deep.
Speaking of going deep, there's a lot of deep references in other movies from this movie, and this is the trope setter movie, right? This is the one where like you watch and you're like, oh, now I know where that's from, or where they got that from, or what. Like when I was watching this, it wasn't just the Dark Knight Returns comic. It was Stranger Things, and it was Chronicle, like you said, Justin, like which we reviewed recently, available now. The Matrix, Chrono Trigger, Inception. I mean, so many different. Even Kanye West's Stronger video directly borrowed some scenes from Akira.
A simple scene from like the
interesting to
movie
see
with the
that.
motorcycle scene, the skidding out.
Yeah, the motorcycle scene.
Dubbed
And by the
the
way-
Akira slide.
The
I don't
Akira
know
slide,
why
yeah.
I thought there was going to be a snow. I don't know why in my mind there was like a scene in the snow where the motorcycle does that, and for some reason I made that up in my head. There was never a
Adrian,
snow.
You might be right, but it was probably a different movie because, like, ever since that scene came out, it's a cool scene. Not gonna lie, when he just slides that bike,
Yeah.
it's been replicated in time after time in so many different media, like from movies to other animated movies. It's referenced very often. Actually, I think the most recent reference I've seen is in the movie Nope with Jordan Peele on that motorcycle scene. She does the Akira slide near the end of that movie. It's referenced.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's referenced in quite a lot of media.
There's actually some not YouTube but Instagram videos, like little clips that have it like all cut up into like a sequence of like showing all the different Akira slides from all the different movies. Like there's one in Adventure Time.
We're gonna have to add that to the show notes because I think
Add
that'd
the
be
clip.
great.
Add the clip. I'll send
clip.
it your way. It's quite impressive.
I believe you. And yeah, so I just feel like this definitely set the tone and the standard for like the cyberpunk vibes. You know, Neuromancer is a famous novel that's considered like the first cyberpunk novel. But in terms of films go, I mean, I think this has to be the one, right? This one and Blade Runner, I guess, right? Is that fair to say that, you know, these two would be? I mean, Blade Runner's live action, so I guess on that front, you know, but both movies combined.
You know, another genre that it influences, or at least like is a pioneer in, is body horror.
Right, yeah. God, yes. That ending was straight out of a David Cronenberg movie. My gosh.
Is that a movie?
And And even the substance, I feel like took inspiration from some of that, because the body horror way it turned into that big hulking monstrous thing in the end was that was crazy.
Monstro Eliza Sue.
Eliza's. Yeah, this movie was also had some unintentionally funny scenes as well. I couldn't get over just the whole mouth agape reaction. Like, that was good.
Yeah.
I don't think it was meant to be funny, but you know.
Again, like sci-fi informing like actual good comedy in like genre film. Like, again, superhero films, sci-fi films can take a note from the comedy in Akira. You know, there's like sight gags again. There's like little things that just kind of make you laugh that aren't like intentionally jokes, but they're jokes.
Yeah. And not just the visual side, but also the on the sound front. I'm reading here that the iconic score blends traditional Japanese music, gamelan, and modern electronic sounds. The soundtrack was composed before animation was finished, forcing the animators to sync visuals to pre-recorded music. So temp tracks are, you know, people know what temp tracks are, but with an animation, I mean, I feel like that'd be a huge challenge, because how do you just go back and redraw something, right? Like, it's not as easy, I would think. But yeah, the music, the visual, the sound design was great. It felt very immersive as well, almost ASMR-like in a way. When that glass falls off his bed, I was expecting it to break, and then it was like, oh, it didn't break. And I thought that doesn't seem realistic. And then and then it does break, and he steps on it, and I was like, oh, I see. It was what's that term? Fuck, I can't think of the term. Wait, when you introduce a gun. When you introduce a gun, yeah. Well, planting a seed isn't the way to put it. Yeah. Chekhov's glass. That's what it is. That was a Chekhov's glass moment.
Chekhov's glass.
Arnold knows. He knows all the literary tropes.
It's all in his brain.
In my brain.
A professional.
That's a copyright strike. No, but yeah. So Arnold, going back to you now that you've finished your dinner. How long did you watch this in one? Because, by the way, it took me 2 sittings just because I had to go to bed. I started kind of late. Did you watch this in one sitting, Arnold? How was it for you?
Okay, all right. You know, by that
you actually watched it this time, right?
Yeah, and I watched it ahead of time, and it wasn't like you know, minutes before we're gonna record.
You didn't pretend to watch it like Scott Pilgrim, right?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I did watch that. I watched it like twice or 3 times.
Yeah, but like little parts of it, right?
But then, you know, as we started talking about it, then I realized that I probably fell asleep. And to be honest with myself, I'm talking about Scott Pilgrim.
Scott Pilgrim, right.
That I did fall asleep, if I'm honest with myself.
This movie had to have had you hooked, right? There's no way you could have fallen asleep during this. It was too intriguing, wasn't it?
So I for the first hour.
What did I ask him?
For the first hour,
his mouth instantly went the so.
You know, I was inspired by the mouth agape. So.
Yeah. Were you mewing, Arnold? I don't know. You know what that means?
Yeah. I just know that people do that, like, or the other way around, or
something like that. No,
something like that. No,
is that?
That's after dark stuff. Keep that to yourself. No, go ahead.
So, the first night on Monday. Today's Wednesday. I know a lot of it. You know, many factors. I didn't eat like a huge heavy meal or have ice cream and stuff. Wait, actually, no, I did. But I did fall asleep after like the first hour, and I was like kind of like dozing. Then, you know, I just committed to it, and I was like, it's Monday. I'll watch it again tomorrow. So I just went night, and then the next day, I was like, all right, okay, already made dinner, already ate. Not gonna have any ice cream because I don't want to get sleepy. And then again, like an hour into it, I don't know what it is for me. If it's my attention span or what. But then I was just like, gosh, I had to keep hitting rewind. I was like, okay, let me watch this standing up. So I stood up, and then I was like, I feel like sitting down. And then I got sleepy again. It was like a 2 hour and 4 minute movie, I think, and it was a good movie and everything. But it took me a little bit longer because I had to rewind it quite a bit.
What stood out to you the most? If you had to pick one moment, one scene in this, surely there's something.
I mean, the parts that always entertained me was like the first 15 minutes. You know, they're like how they're take on the clown gang, leading up to the part where Tetsuo and was it number 26 when they collide. But any one particular part, that's hard to say.
Well, I'll give you a chance to think about it because I actually had some questions that I was hoping maybe Justin or Alex could answer. So, what the heck happened in the end? Did they go off in outer space, Akira and Tetsuo, or what happened? That's the only thing I didn't fully understand was the ending.
Oh yeah, please explain.
Enlighten us.
Yeah.
So, for years this movie has confounded me for a while, but then I believe that once I switched over from the English dub to the Japanese dubbing and with English subtitles, that's when I started to understand it a lot better. You know, they say like a lot of times when you watch the English dubbing, there's a lot lost in translation. So that's why a lot of like fans of anime would prefer the Japanese dub with the English subtitles, which I do. But when I first started watching it, I only had the English dub. We borrowed it from our friend, which we ended up borrowing the VHS for like, I don't know, it had to be at least 5-6 years. We
From Randy?
gave it back to our friend Randy. Yeah, we had it for a while. And
Shouts to Randy Nelson.
I know, Randy Nelson used to be a game tester. I don't know where he's at now. Anyways, he was a cool dude. Anyways,
Some say he's still testing games to this day. No, go ahead.
Possibly. Once I finally watched the Japanese dub with English subtitles, I started to understand what was going on, and then I was kind of confirmed in those couple of videos that I watched before recording this video. What it is so that big old ball of light, the three kids, they're trying to summon and
Yeah, well, that's what they say. That's what they say in the movie, though. Is that they experimented on Akira, and they knew, or Akira knew, that they were far too powerful for their own good. So instead, they like took those parts, stored them in like that giant container. So there isn't any kind of like destruction because Akira knew that they were powerful. I'll say, was like, hey, store me in this, put this power away because it's far too powerful.
Yeah. And then so that big white ball of light was the return of Akira, and Akira is so powerful that he's able to create a way into an alternate dimension and create a universe there. That way he could rescue Tetsuo from like destroying that Earth, and like actually be in a universe where that could contain Tetsuo. And the kids went in there because Kaneda got pulled in there, but they saw that they needed to help him, but they knew that they couldn't come back. So when they all went into that alternate dimension, they were able to send Kaneda back, but Tetsuo, Akira, and those three kids were not able to return.
You know what was interesting about that scene? I read a book last year called To Sleep in a Sea of Stars, and the main character in that book, she gains these powers, and then in the end of the story, spoiler alert, she has to attack the main villain, which is like some kind of a space creature, being, almost godlike creature, and she has to literally go inside of it, similar to how Kaneda and the girl whose name I'm forgetting went inside of Tetsuo when he was growing like that. And now I'm realizing, I think that book also borrowed from this movie because it seems, and in the end of that, by the way, she becomes this godlike space alien being who can transcend time and space. So I'm like,
Yeah.
wow. So this movie really, really, really set the standard for all kinds of stuff, apparently.
Yeah.
So that video that I talked before, I watched before jumping on here, they also talked about like how, and this is from the video, Akira taking Tetsuo into an alternate dimension that he creates to save the rest of the world. This represents the new beginning that Japan yearns for, free from the burdens of the past. So, like, they were kind of like the Otomo, the writer. That's kind of the theory about what this represents is the yearning for something away from the reminder of the past that they've gone through.
Right. And is there any theories as to like, and maybe I missed this, I don't know. Why Tetsuo? Was it just a matter of just wrong place, wrong time? Or was he somehow meant to, become this?
I would say
is there theories on that?
There was a little bit of both if you look at it. So Tetsuo in the beginning of the movie, he's like chasing after the clown biker gang, right? And then he encounters that kid. That kid obviously has like this shield type ability, and Dead stopped his motorcycle and him, so injuring him as well. What they were saying, or at least what the scientists were saying in the movie, is that they're like, well, he had physical contact with this kid, so now like he's injured, so we're going to take him in and we're going to do some testing on him to see like if any of that like affected him at all. And it did, and it also looked like that it was kind of like it was a wrong place at the wrong time, but also a right place at the wrong time as far as like the scientists go, because they found their next person to experiment on and to, see what happens. So they even explained with the kids as well, is that the reason why these kids in particular had superpowers, or their powers that they had, they didn't just have them, they were genetically modified to have these powers. And the reason being is because the reason why they're kids is because it's the innocence of the children. It's like they would never be irresponsible enough to go corrupt like Tetsuo did. Tetsuo is like a high school student. And again, remember, all these kids are high school students still, or they're going to a vocational school. So I'm going to say they're like probably out of high school. So they're still immature. And for Tetsuo to gain these powers all of a sudden due to testing was a little bit irresponsible on the scientist side. They kind of knew going in that this wasn't the correct thing to do, yet they followed through with it. Just they're like, hey, I got it controlled, don't worry. And the guy's like, you better have it controlled, otherwise we're pulling out of this whole thing. So the scientist guy was a little overzealous when it came to trying to control Tetsuo, because it was in a moment in time where Tetsuo was feeling a type of way, which made him angrier, or made that whatever he had, because he at the end of it, he just couldn't control it anymore. And they even warned him. They're like, hey, you're not going to be able to control it if you get too, rampant and angry with this. It's going to consume you. So I'm going to say it's a little bit of both.
Well, one of the things that I learned from the Japanese dubbing with the English subtitles that was different from the English, they actually do talk about that all humans have that ability. Yeah,
they
because
do have it. All humans have it.
It's just everybody has a different level, and Tetsuo was a high level one, and like what you were saying, Justin, that traumatic experience unlocked his abilities. That's what happened. It wasn't really in a testing or anything. It was just like a traumatic experience. That's why, like you were saying, now that he's older, he's unable to control it. The interesting part of that is in the manga, Akira. You even see it in the anime. Akira is number 28. When he was around, he was the highest level. 28 was the highest level, and then you see the other three kids. There's 27, 26, and 25. In the manga, Tetsuo is numbered 45. Now they don't know if they considered him to be the highest level, or it's just a kind of random number that they gave him in Akira. In the manga, I don't know if they even like number him in the anime, the movie, But that's kind of an interesting thing to go on. That's why they're like Akira and Tetsuo in the anime. They're like the scientists are enamored by like how matching their whatever their auras are in that little thing.
Yeah. By the way, I feel like I was just as disappointed as Tetsuo was when he opened that capsule, Akira's capsule, and it was just a bunch of bottles, or what was it? Not
like,
bottles.
So
Optic
disappointed.
nerves and spinal nerves.
It was
and
a bunch of glass, cylinders with stuff and body parts and whatnot. So I was waiting the whole movie, like, now we're gonna get to see Akira, and then there was just a bunch of.
And then there's
that's
Akira's
another difference
sciatic.
in the manga. Akira is an actual kid that is in the whole manga.
Interesting. And to be fair, we did see Akira in the end, the human form of him, I guess, for like a second or two, right? But he didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't, at least I'm assuming that was Akira, right?
That's Akira. Yeah.
He doesn't say anything. He just kind of like stares at the guy.
Akira.
It's been. I was just gonna say, I'm getting more, aware of, when I'm sitting too long, and we should all, after sitting for a long time, we should all get up and stretch our hips. So if you guys want to follow me, just get up.
No.
And
no.
Just
you're not doing that.
The Never Seen It podcast official T-shirt merch
just
available soon. Okay, that's gonna be Arnold After Dark footage. What are you wearing? That's Sailor Moon. Yes, Sailor. See, I got that reference.
That's Chun-Li.
And we're good.
What? I thought it was Sailor Moon. Oh gosh, now I've embarrassed myself.
Oh, is that Tina the Explorer?
I thought it was Sailor Moon. And just to round things off, you're wearing an Akira shirt, Alex, right? It's not something weird like. Okay.
It's Akira.
Tetsuo's haircut, by the way, in the end, reminded me of that anime guy from the show you mentioned.
Dragon Ball?
Goku or Doku or what's his name?
Goku?
The Dragon Ball?
The fucking Dragon Ball. What's the guy's name that has the spiky hair like Tetsuo had?
Goku.
You're muted, Justin. I can't hear you.
Goku.
Sorry.
You're
I
good.
was just saying most of them have spiky hair, so it's like Goku, Vegeta, Gohan.
Oh, Vegeta.
Who are you talking about? They all have spiky hair.
It's Goku.
Oh, okay.
That show was Dragon Ball Z is like apparently super popular in Mexico for some reason. Have you guys ever heard of this?
Yeah,
because they I think there's a bit of time where like a lot of Japanese anime was like hella popular in Mexico because they put in the effort to dub them in Spanish as well.
Nice.
Quite frankly, and correct me if I'm wrong, I might be wrong on this, but I've also heard that a lot of anime goes to Mexico first, and then it makes its way to the United States.
That's possible. I
Huh.
I don't know enough about anime to dispute it, but that's certainly possible.
But the anime culture in Mexico is vast. It's very popular.
It's on another level for sure.
Yeah.
It's so interesting knowing and hearing about how certain media plays in different countries, like different cultures, because I feel like living in the United States and consuming mostly just American made media, you grow up in this bubble and, you don't really remember that there's 6.5 billion people out there, right? So what are they watching? What are they enjoying? What are they consuming, right? And yeah, Mexico, it's anime, and like India Bollywood is known for making these grandiose ridiculous action films that some of them have even
3
done
to 4
well here in
hours.
the U.S. What's that?
They're often like 3 to 4 hours long too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
3 to 4 hours long, and will take me about 2 to 4 weeks to watch.
Yeah. And even the way stories are told, like in the United States, is very monolithic. It's like you have one main character most of the time, and the story is their hero's journey. But like I feel like Eastern storytelling is a little bit different, where it's like I noticed in there is no really one main character. Like you could say Tetsuo and Kaneda are the main characters, but like it's very all-encompassing, and I don't want to call it an ensemble, but it's more ensemble-ish than the kind of stories we tell here in the U.S. So
it's representative.
I find that aspect interesting.
It's representative of their outlook on society, or like they're more community-based versus individual.
Yeah, that's so true. Here we're about the cowboy. It's the cowboy, the lone cowboy, the quiet, serious type and his hero's journey. But yeah, other countries do it differently, which I think is good, right? But not to get too deep into this conversation, but why do you guys think Japanese culture in general is considered pretty cool by like so many people? It's like that aesthetic of the neon and the cyberpunk, like, and like the different Japanese characters you'll see in the cyberpunk worlds, even if they're set in Western setting. Why do you think Japanese culture inspires that so much? Like, it seems to have this like futuristic vibe to it, not just in cyberpunk in this story, but like just across the board.
I think just the fact that, they seem to be ahead of things technology-wise. That's my first impression.
Yeah.
Partially.
And that's interesting.
That's part of like the case, but I think also there's like a bit of fetishization, towards this foreign, like abstract, out of our own sightline type of deal. People in America, they see this foreign thing and they want it, and it's this fetishization of like a culture of something that they want to control.
Right. Yeah. I can totally see that.
I always saw, like, even in Blade Runner, like, just in general, the cyberpunk aesthetic and the cyberpunk theming, I always saw it as more of a warning in some shape or form, because if you look at Akira, you look at Blade Runner, you look like anything that has, like, some cyberpunk to it, there's, like, just trash everywhere. You can tell the air quality is not great, and it looks beautiful. The neon signs kind of, like, mask the ugliness of what it is on the ground floor. So you just see all these bright lights and a bunch of like 3D projected people advertising things. But you notice it's all just like advertising. It looks beautiful, but it's just ads and ads and ads everywhere. Neon lights. People are attracted to the glow of the neon light. I think it's a warning more than anything. Like, hey, if we don't take care of shit, the future's gonna look pretty cool, but you're gonna live in a dump, and there's gonna be rampant crime everywhere, and air quality is terrible.
Cool, but you're gonna live in a dump. Yeah. Can we put that on a plaque?
To add on to like what Justin said, that video again, once going back on like the hidden meaning behind Akira, they said like Tetsuo in particular personifies Japan's past war struggles. His psychic powers and bizarre mutations are reminiscent of the deformations the Japanese suffered due to radiation poisoning. Tetsuo's grotesque transformation, juxtaposed with his enormous power, suggests that although Japan took pride with their new position in the world, they were also afraid of it, afraid that it would consume its cultural identity. So, like, that whole modernization thing is like they're proud of it. They're very proud of like the ability to take things and make it better. That's one of the things that they did so well at post World War II. That's why you have companies like Sony and a lot of other, I can't think of the other companies. They took radios, right? They made the regular radio and made it better. They made so many things like cameras better. So it wasn't just this. So they took pride in it, but they didn't want
all the ones that was advertised on Akira's bike, motorcycle.
Yeah.
Canon.
Yeah. I noticed the Canon logo and stuff on there.
Yeah. Classic.
But I agree with all that, and I find it so interesting that just Japanese culture in general seems to really transcend like. It's just visually cool and interesting, and also what's interesting is that Japan and Germany, two of the biggest, Axis powers from World War II, have done very well for themselves since then. But this country, we're going right down. We're right in the dumper apparently. And how do we get to this point?
Thing. Well, that's the whole thing. Like, you look like they lost, right? Those countries lost, so they had to pick up the pieces and move forward. There's nothing they could really do but pick up the pieces, move forward. And so what's the best way to do it? It was, well, let's build better technology for ourselves, not in the sense that we're trying to compete with other things. We just want to prove to ourselves that we are a country that can do better for ourselves.
do better, learn from loss, and yeah, it shows.
It almost makes me wonder, like, what's it going to take for that sort of rejuvenation in this country? What sort of big
we gotta lose?
Terrible. I mean, yeah. Well, I guess so. Because with the way things are going now, you know, it's kind of hard to hold out hope for a brighter future.
It's that whole rock bottom thing. You know, like how people like talk about like people who are addicted. They have to hit rock bottom before they find like a better, like find their way out. But you just never know where that rock bottom is. Some people's rock bottom is here. Other people's are like way down here. And that's the difference between death and like, oh, I lost my house.
Right. It's always that scene in the movie, right, where the guy decides to turn his life around. He throws away all the booze and the drugs, and he cleans up his house. And then in the third and final act, he goes back to the girl, and he's like, "I'm clean now, baby. I'm ready to live this life now with you." And then she takes it back, and they walk into the sunset happily ever after. But that doesn't always happen as neatly as it does in movies in real life, right? So I guess, like you said, everyone's rock bottom has to be different. Okay, you know what? I think we're at that point. I mean, you know, we don't go through the movies linearly, which is fine because I did that one time in the past, and it took about 4 hours. And I won't say what show that was, but it was a long time. Here's the thing, though. This movie, I was impressed by how simple the story was for the most part, but there was a lot of moving parts. And the only moving part that I did not understand, and I hope you guys can explain, what the hell was the deal with Ryu and then the business guy, and then he got shot, and he was like, I know Ryu was in charge of like the terror gang or whatever, but he was also in cahoots with the guy with the fucking briefcase with all the money. What was the deal with that whole subplot? I did not understand the subplot with the businessman.
Weren't they part of like the what do you call that? The Reformation, or what do they call it?
I mean, the Ryu guy was you know, he was the leader of the terrorist organization, right?
Or was it the old dude?
So
that's what I'm saying. The old dude had the suitcase.
That whole thing, yeah.
But let's just call him Briefcase. Briefcase man was the money guy.
I'm assuming maybe I'm wrong on this too, but I'm assuming that there was like a deal made with this like anti-government group, and he was going to fill his pockets with whatever the outcome may have been. But I don't think they expected to get completely like annihilated the way they did. So he found out that he was in cahoots, and he basically was like, "How could you?" kind of deal, and then proceeded to have a heart attack after shooting with that guy. I think that's how that was all going down. It was a thing to gain money. It was a corporate greed thing.
I think it was like this. I think it was this thing about also. I do agree with that, but I think it's also this kind of being able to control power, you know. And they saw that this project, whatever this Akira project is, was like a weapon, because they were saying like as they talked about in the film, they talked about how everybody has this ability to have those powers. It's just a way to unlock it. So I feel like they were trying to control, and it's kind of funny, like after like concurrently watching Alien Earth and what's going on in that show. It's kind of similar to like what's going on. Yeah, it's kind of, you kind of know like in the whole mythology, there's like those like corporations and, you know, trying to control things, and
there's always a shady corporation. I mean,
yeah, and I think that's part of like the whole Akira thing.
You can't even call them shady corporations anymore. Just call them corporations because they're all shady.
They're all shady.
They're all shady. I kind of took everything as Tetsuo threw a wrench into a lot of plans. It seems, because it didn't seem like he was really necessarily meant to get to the point where he got with his powers and his destructiveness and all that.
But so, he did kind of expedite it.
He did it. Yeah, he was a catalyst for change, I guess. He was that character. And why was Kaneda so invested in going after Tetsuo?
It's his family. Like that's one of the things that I like.
Vin Diesel. It's all about family, right?
Exactly. But no, that whole biker gang. You could tell that they were all invested in like taking care of each other, even though they gave each other shit. Tetsuo was a little bit jealous of Kaneda's place in the gang and wanted to be Kaneda. He still, like, they all cared about each other.
Is it because he has the coolest bike?
Yeah,
I mean,
he wanted his bike.
He had the most riz.
But remember, they grew up together. Tetsuo's guardian dropped him off and just kind of abandoned him at that school, and so they became friends. Like after Kaneda had beat up the kids that took the toy from Tetsuo, right? So they were both kind of relatively new to that school. I was like, yeah, they did the same thing to me. They beat me. They tried to beat me up.
There's the Chronicle parallel, because in Chronicle, I forget the main kid's name. He was the kid that was constantly getting beat down, and he gets powers, and he goes on a rampage. And now I get it, Justin. Now I get it. Tetsuo is that character in Akira, and Kaneda is the other guy who tries to basically stop him. And he did it without powers. Kaneda's a very, very resourceful dude. Like, he does everything. Like, he's got the motorbike. He's got just his grit. He has no powers, and he's like, I'm going in, champ. I'm going, and he's fucking jumps in.
Because he loves his friend. He really cares. He wants to save his friend, but he's also trying to protect.
Find you a kind of friend that likes you as much as Kaneda likes Tetsuo. That's what you got to do, guys.
Fast bike.
And he has that cool bike, man. Chicks love the bike. They love the bike.
I have that action figure of Tetsuo with the gun that came with the motorcycle. I just don't know where it is. I think it's in some box somewhere in my garage.
But what else? I like that this movie did not shy away from collateral damage, because there were so many moments, especially towards the end, where civilians were getting killed and hurt and shot and lasered, and I was like, oh, okay. This movie pulls no punches, man. It pulls no punches, so I really enjoyed that aspect of it. But anyway, I think we're at that point, gentlemen, for final thoughts. And Justin, since you picked this movie, I will start with you. Yeah, tell us, what are your final thoughts?
Yeah, great movie. I've watched it so many times. Like I said earlier, I'll probably watch it a dozen more. It's one of my favorites. It's beautiful. It's drawn really well. It's seamless. It's timeless. Very relatable, and overall, it's one of those bucket list movies that you have to check out at least once in your lifetime. I would suggest checking it out a couple of more times after seeing it. It is such a inspiring movie, and it is it is something that should be taught in history books as far as like how this movie was made, its theming, political theming as well. This movie has a lot to offer, and I still feel that it is very relevant to this day and age. It's I don't know, I don't even know, because I didn't really do a whole lot of research on this, but I don't even know if this thing won any awards. I'm sure it did in some shape or form. But yeah, there's nothing much else I can say about what we, haven't talked about already. It's a good fucking movie. It's entertaining. There's nothing else I can say about it. Just go watch it. It's phenomenal. Hell, I'll watch it with you if anybody asks me. I love this movie so much. It has a very close place to my heart. It's changed my view on animated features, especially foreign animated features. It's allowed me to give other movies a chance because of how impactful it was. I remember the first time watching this movie, jaw was on the floor. I'm like, oh my god, like I didn't think anything would be like this. When you think of anime, you just think of, I don't know. When I was younger, I'll admit, like I thought of anime as like a kid's thing to watch, and constant like yelling and action, and not saying that Dragon Ball is all about that. Like there is a very deep storyline to like Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z and all these other animated series as well. I think Akira is one of those that kind of like brought me into the adult side of animated movies, and I thank it for that, because it's opened my eyes to so much more, and yeah, so my Letterboxd rating is going to be a 5 out of 5. It's a perfect movie. I have no qualms with it ever. I see myself coming back to watch it whenever I hear somebody say that they've never seen it before. I will do my damnedest to get them to watch it. Yeah, great movie. 5 out of 5. You can follow me on socials, GhostNerd88. Click links and find me in other stuff. And that's pretty much it.
Heck yeah. Thank you, Justin. And to answer your question, according to Wikipedia, it won the Silver Scream Award at the Amsterdam Fantastic Film Festival in 92, and it was one of the 4 nominees for the 2007 American Anime Awards Best Anime Feature Award, but it lost to Final Fantasy VII Advent Children.
What?
Why?
Yeah, I don't
Why?
know what that is. I don't know what that is.
What? Okay,
That was an
I'm
upset.
just gonna
It was an
say
upset
this.
that year.
Final Fantasy VII Advent Children was good in its own right. Don't get me wrong. There is no way. There's
Hey.
no way that movie beat it out.
I've never seen it.
Yeah.
It's the name of
neither
the
have
show.
I.
I'm not even gonna lie. If we watch that Final Fantasy movie, there's a whole lot more that will go into that. But anyway, yeah.
I'll tell you what, if we get 10,000 followers someday, we'll do a spin-off show where we just do the best anime. Just anime, actually.
I had never seen that movie either.
Dare we try?
Well,
Arnold? Dare we try?
Technically, Advent Children isn't anime. It's CG. It's a CG movie. It's all CG.
Akira, I love this movie. I watched it so many times when we were younger. It enthralled me when I first put it on. From the very, very beginning. We borrowed it. I had no clue whatsoever what it was about, but it was one of those things where they talk about how a good story, a good movie especially, it leaves a breadcrumb trail to lead you back to watching it again. Like, it makes you want to watch it again because you didn't understand it the very first time. You didn't get the whole gist of whatever the movie was about. So it gave you enough to understand what was going on, but it wasn't enough to like satiate that desire to understand it as well as you feel you could. So you go back for multiple viewings, and that's what a good movie that makes you want to view it multiple times does to you. And this is one of those movies. I didn't get it as a kid. I got part of it, and as I watched it, as I got older, I understood it better and better. So that is why it has stayed with me. I agree with Justin. 5 out of 5. This is one of my all-time favorite films. One of the cool things about it, interesting fact, similar to Scott Pilgrim, their series not wrapping up until after the movie was released. Same thing with Akira. That's why the ending for Akira is a little bit ambiguous, because the movie was released in 1988. The final volume 6, didn't get released until 1990. So that's why there's a little bit of ambiguity with the ending to the movie. But even with that ambiguity, they still were able to wrap it up in a way that was satisfying. Yet, again, like I talked about, that breadcrumb trail bringing you back to the movie to watch it again. Like, okay, well, but that's, again, too, like, that's one of those cool things when you listen to a song where you don't quite understand the lyrics fully. So you kind of create your own lyrics in your head of what they're actually saying, and that creates a meaning to you that's like super personal, you know?
I'm glad you say that, Alex, because I used to think it was Don't Go Jason Waterfalls, but it's Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls. And as a kid, I always thought, who the hell is Jason Waterfalls? What kind of name is that? Anyway, sorry.
Is Chasing Waterfalls not Jason?
That's right, Arnold.
Oh,
Did I just blow your mind?
I actually knew that.
Keep going, Alex. I apologize. I just had to get that
It's
out.
all good. But yeah. Akira, 5 out of 5. I could go on and on about this film, but we don't have like 5 hours.
Wait, not yet. That's
So,
true.
Yeah.
And then the other one
And
is
you
like
can find me on social media, Daily Dares on all the socials. Go to my link tree and find all the other stuff that I'm involved with.
awesome. All right, Arnold. Hey, it's about that time, Arnold. It's about that time. First of all,
About
first
that
just
time.
give us your final thoughts, and then we will move straight into the snooze-o-meter. But go ahead, final thoughts, and then snooze-o-meter. Arnold, hit us with it.
Yes. So, like I had mentioned before, I saw this several times as my brothers would watch it. I remember. I feel like every chance that we could get, or that they could get, they would pop in. It was a VHS, right? VHS. They would pop that movie in, and I would always seem to like just get up to that one part. And I think the first time I saw it, I think Donnie, my brother Donnie, not Donnie Appleseed, our cousin Donnie, I think
Thanks for
he
clearing
was.
that up.
Yeah.
That's just for me, by the way.
The part where Tetsuo's guts come out, that's where I remember him kind of being like, I don't know, like, you should be careful, close your eyes, or this is a really gross part. I remember feeling that, but I just thought that, like, the beginning part. Okay, here's what I would compare it to. The part of them fighting with the clown motorcycle gang is at the beginning of that. It's a different kind of action, but the same sort of energy that like locks you in is like the same as the very first Fast and the Furious, where the Honda Civics they hijack that semi truck with that really, really great music and with the underglow lights of the cars, and then it goes under the semi truck, and how they take it. Totally different type of action, but similar kind of energy that kind of just sucks you into it, and you're like, and keeps you there. And for me, doesn't keep me there for the entire movie. But I think that's more so me, because I'm a sleepy guy. I think we talked about it before. I'm definitely more of a morning movie watcher, perhaps with coffee, a couple cups of coffee, with maybe a couple little bumps of
Bong rips.
No, bumps.
Bong rips.
Bumps.
Oh, bumps like.
No, bumps of lion's mane that I put into my coffee because it's great for my brain. It helps with memory and cognitive. But one thing that I really need to start doing is taking my enzymes when I eat these heavy meals, these food enzymes, because I could really weigh it down. This here is enzymes from We Care Spa, and shouts to them. When I take it, it helps.
You're not wearing your magic magnet watch or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's in repair right now. So I'm watchless.
Wait, your meniscus.
I'm watchless.
We're waiting for that check.
The check. Anywho, no, the animation ahead of its time for this movie. 1990. What was out at that time? X-Men, Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joe. I mean, it's way better than that. Like the anime.
Yeah. The art. We're all a little gassed up tonight. Yeah.
Was that the dog? Was it Molly?
I believe so. Well, I hope it was the dog.
Yeah. Damn. She has a collapsed trachea.
Oh.
I thought you're laughing about my lack of being able to come up with I thought you, like, because I can't come up with like, oh yeah, great art, great animation, but I really feel that it was one ahead of its time, just like how Japanese culture is in many ways.
Yeah.
And and America, of course, copying. I mean, first thing that comes to mind is the original, the OG Iron Chef, the Japanese Iron Chef, and then finally, like 15 years later, America, or maybe 10 years later, America comes up with, the American Iron Chef, and they try to copy that, and then they just destroy it.
We steal everything.
Yeah.
We steal everything.
Yeah, it was a horrible rip-off of it. I mean, the chefs on there were great, but they just like kind of killed it,
How did we get here?
Yeah, I know. And look at we're at an hour and 20, that's another 40-minute block. So you know what that means, guys. Come on, do it. We got
Arnold, don't let your camera's gonna get unplugged again.
Advertising our new merch shop,
Arnold.
by the way.
My question for you before you wrap up your... What's the name of Kaneda's bike game?
Sorry, I was on mute. What was
I don't even know that.
Kaneda's bike gang is called Gang, right?
What was the capsules?
The capsule.
That explains
Did
the
it?
capsule.
It was called. They were called the capsules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
he
Did
has
they
a
even
capsule
mention
on the back of his jacket.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's
I
what
was
that
gonna
is?
ask about that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Apparently.
that's what it is.
Okay. I didn't catch that.
And
Maybe
that jacket's also referenced in Kong Skull
Michael
Island.
Jackson.
Nice. Michael Jackson.
I thought.
Yeah,
Michael Jackson has a lot more
hero, man.
zippers,
Yeah, he does.
And flaps.
flaps. Yeah. I definitely will rewatch this as many times as I can before my 7-day Crunchyroll free trial ends. So I've got a few more days. Definitely, it's one of those when I think anime, and I always think Akira. And even though leading up to this, all I saw was like maybe the first 15-20 minutes, and that still really sticks. But I mean, really, it's a really great story. And like you had mentioned, Justin, like that it's almost like a warning of things that can happen, and really opens up your mind to think about those things, like if there was a World War III, if there was an atomic bomb, like man. And that in the movie they're in martial law, right? Just what life could be like.
Yeah.
I think they said that.
It felt like a military occupation of sorts towards the end.
They were always talking about how they were afraid of things falling into martial law. I don't think they were full
I thought it
on.
was because wasn't the colonel
mostly military control? Maybe when stuff started popping off, like when thousands of people died. I'm assuming when everybody got evaporated from that city. I'm sure they did something.
When he said something like towards the end and was like, "Oh, we gotta connect to Seoul," I thought he was talking about Seoul, Korea, but it was that satellite SOL, which is another forward thinking that they're ahead of their time. Solana, a cryptocurrency, a blockchain that is one of those that's really gaining a lot more momentum, and I think is going to surpass Ethereum. But that's because it's a lot more affordable and quicker. But the satellite, SOL.
Yeah.
My overall rating for this, I was gonna give it I'll give it a solid 3.5. 3.5
Nice.
hearts, stars,
Whatever's in your
Clovers.
heart, Arnold.
burgers,
Yeah.
Rainbows.
burgers,
Burgers.
Burritos for tonight.
burritos. Yes,
How many burrito bites?
yeah.
All right.
So
Kisses.
Hey, where can people find you, Arnold?
I'm at Arnie Collego on YouTube, Insta, everywhere, TikTok.
Nice. Well, hey,
OnlyFans. What's up?
it's that part of the show. My favorite part, anyway. Let's get the Arnold Snooze-o-Meter rating. Go ahead, Arnold. What was your snooze score on this bad boy?
More and more, I'm learning a lot about myself. That I really am just a sleepy boy, and I need to watch things when it's best for me, not like what I feel like people like after work or tonight. I'm gonna watch a movie. Like, man, I'm tired after maybe 7 o'clock. I can barely keep track of Jeopardy. I can't even get any answers or questions, whatever.
Yeah, after eating 2 pints of thrifty ice cream, dang, you gotta knock anybody out.
Yeah.
But however, okay, so maybe a week or two ago, I ate a whole thing of a pint of the single serve,
Yes, you did.
the smaller one of the Thrifty's chocolate malted crunch, and then we were watching something, and I couldn't remember, but then I did remember after talking with my wife. We're watching Reacher. I guess that and I didn't get sleepy at all. I finished the whole thing, and I was like,
And you finished the movie.
the series. the TV series.
Oh wow, look at you.
Oh, I thought you
Yeah.
were talking about the
Big boy.
the Thrifties fight.
I finished both.
Finish both. Good.
Boy.
But the Z rating for this, I give it a half a Z.
Oh,
Because the first night I was legit tired. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go to sleep. But then last night when I watched it, I was like fighting. I'm like, oh gosh, okay. I paused it and I got up and I didn't do any jumping jacks, but I got some ice cream. No, just kidding. I didn't have any ice cream. I know better than have some sugar to make me fall asleep when I'm feeling sleepy.
well, that's awesome, Arnold. Thank you for that. Your
Thank
final thoughts are always multimedia, so we appreciate it. Go ahead.
Thank you, Adrian. Thank you for this final review that you're going to give.
Well, I'm glad you bring that up. I really enjoy this movie. I think this movie is a true work of art. The animation style is ridiculously good. The story is good. It set the standard, as we mentioned earlier, for this genre. Cyberpunk, the sort of neon aesthetic of everything, the super futuristic world that this movie introduced us to. All that was great. I loved all that. The story was way easier to follow than I expected it to be, and probably helps that I did the English dub. Yeah, it was great. The music was great. The whole production process. I mean, you can tell that a lot of time, energy, excuse me, and love went into making this movie. You can just see it. You see it in every frame. So, with that said, I gave this movie 4 stars on Letterboxd, which I think is pretty good. 5 stars for me. It's like I don't even know what was worth 5 stars if I'm being honest. But this movie is up there still. 4 stars on Letterboxd. I could easily see myself rewatching this movie. The rewatch value I think is great. I would love to watch this movie with my kid. I think he's still a little too young for it. Maybe in like 5 or 6 years we'll be able to watch this movie.
There's boobies in it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's a full-on SA in it. In that scene.
I watched it when I was 11, so
That's a good year.
Yeah.
So then,
I
if
watched
you
a
were
lot of movies at 11 that I probably shouldn't have watched.
So then-
but yeah.
I was 6 years old then. No wonder I didn't understand it.
Well, it's one of those things. It ages like a fine wine, right? Like some stories, you watch them at a certain age, at a certain time in your life. Exactly. There you go. It's got Justin. Justin, I don't know.
This one's for you, Justin.
Wine, Justin. What the heck, man?
You know what's funny? They have one for my brother Josh as well.
Nice, Josh Wine.
They have Josh wine and Justin wine. Yeah.
Love it.
Mom
love
was
it.
always like, "Look at that." Great.
I love it.
sweet.
But
Hey,
Where's my
thanks,
money?
Mom.
yeah, thanks. Yeah, great movie. High rewatch value. Hope to rewatch it with my kids someday. I have it on disc, so hey, assuming the DVDs are even still a thing, by the time he's old enough, we'll pop that bad boy in and give it a whirl. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, Letterboxd, 4 stars out of 5. You can follow me on Letterboxd. Boots Too Big. You can follow the show on Letterboxd and on all social medias. And by the way, I had to say really quick, by the time this episode comes out, TikTok's new terms of service will have taken effect. Who knows how that's going to change the game in a bad ways, from a lot of people are saying. So remember, we're on YouTube, guys. We're on Instagram. We are on X. We're on Blue Sky. We're everywhere. You can follow the show. Follow us on our website at neverseenitpodcast.com. I'm on Substack. You can do video on Substack now. Everyone's got their own video going on. And by the way, there's a current TikTok alternative that's in beta right now. I have to give them a plug because it's been an interesting journey so far. The OWN app. If you guys haven't heard of the OWN app, it is essentially a TikTok alternative that I think is pretty good. It's still in the beta phase, so not fully open to the public. But if you want to get in on the OWN app, and Alex, you've already done this, hit me up. I have essentially an unlimited amount of invite codes. So hit me up on the OWN app. And by the way, they're very, Arnold, you'll like this, they're very crypto focused. And okay. I think the way, I don't know the full details, but I think the way that they plan for creators to eventually get paid on there is through like their own crypto coin or system or whatever.
Wallet.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Is that a wallet? I don't even know what a wallet is. Is the wallet the main
It's a digital
thing?
wallet.
It's a digital wallet.
Yeah.
Okay, well.
You got really
so
horny there, Arnold. Jeez.
No.
You're very turned on,
I
but
accidentally tooted right now.
you're not the only one, apparently.
You didn't hear that, did you?
But, no, our editors will cut that sound out. Don't worry. But yeah, follow us on. Eventually, hit us up if you want our own invite. Let me know. I'll get you on there. But yeah, follow the show. Never Seen It Podcast. Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Blue Sky, Facebook, X. Visit the website, neverseenitpodcast.com. Send us an email, podcast.neverseenit@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple, or YouTube, which, by the way, you can now do. We now have video on Spotify. If you listen to us on Spotify, you can also see our beautiful faces on there as well now. And if you like the show, please share, and leave us a review, a comment. Even if the comment is negative towards me, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I'm not a toxic Avenger, but I will be. I'd like to be. Thanks to Mr. Kyle Mapson of Burn Cycle for our intro music. You can follow Kyle on Instagram at selfies_food_and_pets. And yeah, thanks for listening. Any final thoughts from the gentleman?
Go
Yo,
watch
mama.
the Toxic Avenger. Go watch the Toxic Avenger.
Canada or Canada?
Blame Canada. Blame. Okay, now we're done.
Blame Kanye.